inside the Pregame Center tonight. It's game one of the Western Conference semifinals featuring the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Los Angeles Lakers. OKC, for the third consecutive season, swept their first round opponent, the Phoenix Suns. They've been off for 8 days before the beginning of this matchup. It took a little longer for the Lakers, a 6-game series with the Houston Rockets, but here we are, second round action in the NBA playoffs. Along with Spencer Tillis and Cameron Johnson, I am Colby Daniels. It is blue shirts everywhere. Excited for another game inside the Pregame Center. Spencer, I know you were here throughout the entirety of last season's championship run. The Lakers bring a different aura. I know it's not the Indiana Pacers in the NBA Finals, but it's going to feel that way, I think, just because of that Laker logo.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime you get the logo of the Lakers inside of an arena, there's a different energy. And the fan base here, I mean, they call it Loud City for a reason. They're already going to be at 10 with the energy that they're going to be bringing to everybody. But you add in that beast, you add in the fact that you bring LeBron into this building, there's going to be a bunch of elements that really just kind of take this entire thing to the next level. It's the next round of the playoffs. I mean, there's so many elements. The stage is set. It should be a great night.
And Cameron, for you, first time in a playoff atmosphere inside the Pregame Center. I'm kind of giddy for you to get to experience, the volume of this place, some of those runs when there's a turnover that leads to a dunk and the place just erupts. It's a really cool feeling as a sports fan to be a part of. What is your expectation for what you're going to experience tonight?
I am feeling the energy already. It's been like 10 years since I came to a Thunder game, and it's safe to say things have changed a little bit more since then. So even just being in here now, like you said, for a playoff game, seeing all of the shirts, I mean, it's just, you can't beat it. I'm very excited.
Well, as far as the matchup goes, Thunder-Lakers, they met 4 times in the regular season. I don't know how much we take from those 4 matchups. Each team had pretty significant injuries in almost every one of the matchups. The Thunder won all 4 by an average margin of victory, 29 points per game. I'll start with you, Spencer. I mean, what do you take from the regular season games?
You normally can't take a lot from them. You can look at matchups and apply them, but like you said, there's going to be a lot of guys out on both teams. But just stylistically, you look at what the Thunder do, and they get up into the guards. They force so many turnovers. And you look at what the Lakers have done so far. They've struggled taking care of the ball. I mean, it's kind of a strength versus weakness, and that showed out throughout the regular season. I mean, across the board, it feels like every single matchup is in favor of OKC, and we saw that play out a little bit. You can't really take that regular season and say that's just going to completely translate. But a big portion of that definitely, I think, is going to play out here in this series.
What about you?
Yeah, no, I feel like the Thunder, when you talk about the storyline surrounding this team, if you ask any given week what stands out about them, it's just the same thing over and over because it may be simple, but they excel at it. And like you said, it doesn't automatically carry over into the postseason, but it feels like for one team, everything is going as right as it can despite injuries, and the other, they're getting there, but like you said, it feels on paper like the series favors one team, but I think, like you said, this Lakers team has a history that's so rich, so I think we're going to be in for a good series.
And especially with this atmosphere, those turnovers and points off turnovers kind of mean more than 2 points sometimes because it turns into a snowball and it lights a fire underneath this crowd and it can become an avalanche for sure. Injuries are going to be a significant part of this series. Obviously, the Lakers start the series without their star, Luka Doncic, who is arguably playing the best ball in the league at the time of his injury. The Thunder without J-Dub, who was such a big part of their championship run. Mark Dagnall gave us an update on J-Dub's progress.
He's progressing, according to plan, I would say. In terms of timeline, we're not going to release that. We'll continue to let you guys know on a week-to-week basis.
So, reevaluated on a weekly basis. I don't anticipate we're going to see J-Dub in this series. Maybe if the Lakers are able to force this thing into a situation where the Thunder feel like they need to rush him, but everything we've seen with hamstring injuries would lead me to believe it's better safe than sorry.
Definitely in a situation like this, when you look at the two teams, the Thunder are built to be able to deal with injuries. The Lakers are not. So when you lose Luka, it's way more impactful for them versus the Thunder where you have A.J. Mitchell. You have other guys that can step in and play a significant role. And we've seen this be a lingering injury for him. So if you have the opportunity to buy him an extra couple of days and if you can, wrap this series up decently quickly and then wait for the next round, that's best case scenario for the Thunder. They definitely do not want to try and rush him back because in all likelihood they're not going to need him for this series. But if you see the Spurs next round, if you continue to make a run, you're going to need them down the road.
One of the fascinating elements of this series is you have the small market Thunder, who are kind of viewed as the bully and the massive favorite, versus the underdogs that are the Lakers, who have the biggest brand in all of basketball. Even J.J. Redick weighed in on what a massive underdog the Lakers are in this series.
I said to a bunch of people yesterday off-site that were, talking about this series to me. I said, yeah, the Thunder are one of the greatest teams ever in NBA history. That's just the reality. They're that good. I think our guys recognize that and respect that, and we know what kind of task we have in front of us.
Maybe a little gamesmanship on J.J. Redick's part there, one of the greatest teams of all time. We'll see if they're able to capitalize on that. In terms of what the Thunder did show us in the first round, Cameron, what was your biggest takeaway in the 4-game sweep over the Suns?
I mean, we've already talked about it a little bit. Same thing throughout the whole season. The depth of this Oklahoma City team might be their most punishing trait. You can take any player off the floor at any given time, and they're still going to find a way to put something together. Obviously, a lot of the attention goes towards Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and for good reason. But, I mean, you look back at the playoffs and most of the regular season, he can sit the entire fourth quarter, and this team will still look like one of the best teams in the NBA. So I think what we saw, especially in this first-round series, we're going to see a lot more this next round.
Sometimes that doesn't necessarily show in Game 1. It certainly can, but as the series goes on, I think that's where the depth can really put a stranglehold on the opponent. Spencer, what was your biggest takeaway as far as the Lakers in their first series against the Rockets?
Really kind of just showed how dependent kind of this group was a little bit on Luka. They were able, if you look at post-All-Star break, they go on a huge run. They were averaging 125 points per game. Luka flew all the way up to second in the odds for MVP. They were 16-2 during that stretch. And then, just coincidentally, they play the Thunder. Not only were they losing by 40 in the first half in a game that Luka was still playing in, he then pulls his hamstring in the second half. Since then, this team is now averaging only 105 points. That drops down to 100 points during the postseason. When you talk about taking 25 points off the board, the Lakers aren't a team that lock you down defensively and win games by doing what they do on defense. They were winning games because they were effectively outscoring you on offense. He was the driving force of that. They are not the same team without Luka. It puts a huge burden on LeBron, and he was able to win that series to his credit. But we also saw him start to get a little bit tired on the back half of the series. He's been in the league long enough to be playing with his son. I'm just saying. So, you can't rely on that guy to make serious pushes deep into the playoffs at that age. He can maybe do it for a game or two, but they're just so dependent on what Luka was able to bring. He was an MVP favorite for a reason.
We're getting closer to tip-off. It is a 7:30 start time here inside the Pregame Center. For those of you that are making the trip down tonight, here is a Thunder forecast with Jack Griffin.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, the forecast is going to be, I would say, pretty comfortable out there. It could be obviously much hotter out there with temperatures well into the 90s. In fact, it could be that hot by the time we get to this weekend. But for the next couple hours, you'll noticing we got temperatures that'll be cool in the 50s, primarily staying pretty steady in the upper 50s over the course of our evening, going into tonight with mostly cloudy skies, and also can't rule out some little areas of drizzle as well. Here's our view from downtown, again, overlooking the Pregame Center. And again, I think we're looking at an overall just very comfortable evening out there for a lot of us. Obviously, it is cool compared to May standards, but I think, though, like I said, we're looking at an overall, though, comfortable trend for this evening, even if we are down in many spots by about 25 to 35 degrees compared to this time yesterday. So we are looking at actually a still breezy forecast as well, with these winds coming in out of the north at around 20 to almost 30 miles an hour, but those should be weakening over the course of our evening. We've been tracking a cold front sliding southward over the course of our day today, and there might be a few storms that try to develop across far southeast Oklahoma, but that's going to be generally well outside of our area. Nothing has actually popped up yet on the radar just now, but there could be a few stronger storms in this zone. But again, it's going to be far outside of our area where we're not too concerned about it. We're generally going to be looking at more of those just cloudy and drizzly conditions overnight tonight.
Welcome back inside the Pregame Center along with Spencer Tillis and Cameron Johnson. I am Colby Daniels. The doors haven't opened here yet. All the blue shirts still look pristine behind us, but I'm sure outside the arena, fans are excited to get this series underway. Finally, after this 8-day-long vacation, our own Adam King is at Thunder in the Park. Adam, what's happening outside the arena?
Colby, Cameron, Thunder in the Park is awesome right now. There's all kinds of stuff going on as the fans are gathering. The wind, the cold, not holding anybody off. There's actually an opportunity out here to show a little skills in a bit of a combine situation. As you know, 10 seconds of action, so we're going to give it to you here. I'm like a bit of a combine athlete. They're generous here. You can check that vertical. Then we get to the top. I don't know. I think they were a little generous with what they did here. And then we can kind of come over and we can skip one, see if we still got it. Oh, here we go. So we're making it. We might make the team here. We got a shot at it. There's a ton of stuff out here. I'm so glad that went well. There was a piece of the warm-up there where I thought we had like a hip hammy. I might have been questionable for tonight. But there's all kinds of ways for Thunder fans to get out here and get involved and get going. There's so many fun things to do. There's a bunch of stuff going on stage as well. You can feel it in the fans that you talk to. Everybody that's around is just ready to go. They are ready to see this game happen. They've waited so long, it feels like, since that last series ended for the Thunder to get back on the court. They are rabid for some great basketball here in downtown Oklahoma City. So we can't wait to have that start for everybody. And sounds like inside the building there is awesome too. So I'm going to send it back to you guys and help people get ready for this big game tonight.
There you go. That is Adam King at Thunder in the Park. No better person to join the people outside and bring the energy than Adam King. Speaking of bringing the energy, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had a terrific round one. Obviously, the efficiency wasn't really there in game number one of last series, but really brought it beyond that, averaging 33.8 points per game. And, looking the part of what we expect to be a two-time MVP.
Yeah, absolutely. He has been dominant this entire regular season and then the postseason, going 15 for 18 in that clutch moment to kind of put this thing away. He's the driving force for this offense. His efficiency is just unguardable at this point. And he keeps talking about how he has all the answers to the test. It certainly looks like that. Like, no matter what defenses throw at him, he seems to always have an answer at this point. And it showed again. And, again, the Lakers aren't exactly the best defensive team out there, so you'd expect him to have a pretty solid series again in this one.
You just get the sense when you watch how he's played that, like, you are witnessing something special, what he's done here recently. And obviously he's a great offensive player, but I think what impresses me the most is the numbers he puts up while also being a very good contributor, a distributor to his teammates. I mean, a lot of the times you have a player that is that good, and maybe you assume they're going to not necessarily be a ball hog, but he does such a good job of getting his teammates involved. And in the end, it pays off for the team.
Obviously, he's on track to become one of the greatest players in the history of this game. Where he ends up will be determined. LeBron James has sealed that fate, right? He is in that conversation as one of the greatest to ever do it. I'm really curious about his impact on this series, but when you look at how long he's been in the league, there are some really interesting numbers here. First of all, LeBron James is older than the Thunder's head coach, Mark Daigneault. He made his NBA debut before Thunder guard Cason Wallace was even born. And he has more playoff series wins at 42 than the Thunder as an organization do at 38. I mean, it's pretty remarkable everything he's already accomplished, but the question is, how much does he have left in the tank against this defense and this Thunder team?
Yeah, and we saw it, again, in that first round matchup. I mean, him and his son went on a 10-0 run in a playoff game, which I don't know if we will ever see that happen again. But as you mentioned, I mean, game 3, game 4 even, he started to run out of gas a little bit. Now, on the flip of that, they do have Austin Reeves back, who should be able to alleviate kind of some of the responsibilities for him. But at that age, with the amount that they need him to do without Luka, there's only so much tread left on those tires.
Yeah, I mentioned I'm excited to be here for a lot of reasons, but just from a fan of basketball, to be in the presence of someone like LeBron James, whatever you say about him in the race for who's the greatest, I mean, it is really cool to see him make this kind of impact. Like you said, not just play in a series, but be an active contributor, and one of the reasons they have made it to the second round. It's just really special.
No doubt. We're getting closer to tip-off. It is a 7:30 start here at the Paycom Center. We will give series predictions next here on a special edition of The End Zone. We're just over 2 hours away from tip-off. Game 1 of the Western Conference semifinals, the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Los Angeles Lakers. I am Colby Daniels. That is Cameron Johnson and Spencer Tillis. Inside the Paycom Center, we're about 10 minutes away from the doors opening up, but outside the arena, it is a party. 8 days off for this Thunder team. Finally back in action, everybody ready to get inside, put their T-shirts on, at least for 98% of this fan base. There's always those people that end up on the Jumbotron getting bullied into it, but our own Adam King at Thunder in the Park, I would assume, has already bullied fans into wearing the T-shirt. Adam, what's going on?
Yeah, we got the shirt on, and everybody out there, do yourself a favor. If you got one, put the shirt on. Don't be that guy or gal. We don't need that here. It's about solidarity as we get the Thunder back on the court and get ready to take on those Lakers. Out here at Thunder Up in the Park, this crowd is growing. There's so much stuff out here to do, whether it's to show your own skills as a fan or you got chances to win Thunder tickets to those games out here. So there's all kinds of stuff to get involved here with the Thunder drummers. You got the dancers out there in front of the stage, all kinds of ways to get involved. We have felt this crowd grow since we've got out here, and you can hear it as people are talking about it. They're not just excited for Thunder basketball, they're excited to see this team show up against LeBron James, one of the all-time greats here, essentially taking on what is Father Time personified in this Oklahoma City Thunder team to see who's going to win this matchup. Definitely excited fans out here as they are now, as you said, Colby, making their way to the doors. We're going to stay out here at Thunder Up in the Park, and we'll be with you through the 5 o'clock hour here. Reporting live, Adam King, Fox 25.
Thank you, Adam. Keep bringing the hype out there. I know Thunder fans are excited. Guys, as we get ready to wrap this thing up, a little over 2 hours away from tip-off, obviously this is a massive game. The Lakers in town, the Lakers to start a series at the Pregame Center against the defending champs. I think there are a lot of different players you can key in on this series on both sides of the equation, but Spencer, who's somebody you are looking to watch throughout the course of this series?
Really, when you look at what the Lakers have, they don't have much depth. They don't have kind of a lot of matchups that they feel very good about. And I think a lot of it is going to come down to DeAndre Ayton for the simple fact that their front court is so thin that if he gets in foul trouble trying to guard Hartenstein, if he gets in foul trouble trying to guard Chet, they have nobody that can then back up. It would be LeBron almost backing up at the 5, and that's a matchup that the Lakers do not want to have at any point. So not only need that to have him have a good night defensively and stay out of foul trouble, if he can find some sort of offensive rhythm, and he did a little bit in the tail end of the series against the Rockets, but he's been a guy that's been up and down a lot in his career, and if you really need to rely on him, probably not where you want to be if that is on your franchise. So that is a matchup that if the Lakers are going to win, they're going to have production out of there, and he cannot find himself in foul trouble because they just do not have options behind him.
Cameron, who are you watching?
Chet Holmgren, to me, is going to be one of the biggest factors for the Thunder. I mean, you look back at this last series, both him and Isaiah Hartenstein were fantastic, a fantastic dynamic together, but Holmgren he was just so stellar on defense as he has been. I'd like to see him pick it up a little more on the offensive side. I mean, just a little bit. I think if he can get going on both ends, I mean, that's going to be a recipe for success, if you will. So I've got my eye on Chet Holmgren to have a big series.
To his credit, I think he's done really well identifying mismatches and being more aggressive. You probably need that to translate to 48 minutes. And if that does, I mean, look out for what Chet Holmgren's ceiling could be. I'm going to go with Isaiah Joe in this series. He was phenomenal in all 4 regular season matchups against the Lakers. I mean, he was really good throughout the season, but averaged 19.5 points per game against the Lakers this season, hit big threes in all those games. I'm curious to see if that translates here tonight. Obviously, the Thunder have an incredible amount of depth, but without J-Dub, you know, it's kind of up in the air who the second scorer might be. You anticipate it's going to be A.J. Mitchell, but their depth, I think, warrants Isaiah Joe having a big opportunity to knock down some big shots, especially in those situations where the Thunder have the second unit in and maybe have some mismatches on the floor. In terms of this series, guys, you know, I think most people feel like the Thunder are going to take it. They are a massive favorite tonight. LeBron, in fact, is the biggest underdog for a playoff game in his entire career. Tonight, the Lakers are a 16-point underdog. Massive underdogs in this series, but Spencer, how do you see this thing going?
I mean, Vegas got those big buildings for a reason. They normally know what they're doing when they're setting lines. I mean, I think this series is going to be a very quick 4 games, and if they would, I think it would be done in 3 at this point. Like, I just do not expect the Lakers to be able to keep up. You might see in a half they're there, but there's going to be those runs where they just turn it over, and all of a sudden you look up and it's a 12-0 run, a 14-0 run, sparked by OKC's defense where they just get out in the open court. And right now, the way that the Lakers are built, they're not in a spot offensively where they're going to be able to make up that ground and go on runs themselves. So for spurts, maybe they hang with OKC, but there's going to be those 4 or 5 minute stretches where OKC just buries these games away, and I feel like it's going to be a very quick 4-game series.
Cameron, what do you got?
all the ingredients are there for a sweep, I think. I mean, it's everything you just said. The Thunder looks so smooth right now, whereas the Lakers are kind of stumbling to figure it out. I just can't, my gut tells me that the Lakers will get one game when this series goes back to Los Angeles, especially, maybe it's just because of the aura that comes with the Lakers franchise and LeBron James, but I envision that there might be one night where they just have everything clicking the way it needs to be. So I have Thunder winning it in 5.
Is it possible the Lakers get one? Yes. Is it likely the Lakers get one? No. I think if they're going to get one, it needs to be early in this series. The Thunder's depth, I think, puts a stranglehold on this series as it goes on. Give me the Thunder in 4, and I think they punch their ticket to the Western Conference Finals. They've got to do it, though, before that actually happens, and we are 2 hours away from tip-off. For Spencer Tillis and Cameron Johnson, I am Colby Daniels. We'll see you after the game.